Good morning and welcome to our webinar series. I would like to this morning say how delighted I am that we've invited Des Aston and the Inclusive National Higher Education Forum to present for us this morning. This morning, we're going to look at some third level options and what steps that you may take when looking at third level options. Just for your knowledge, this is being recorded this morning, and it will then sit on our webpage at Inclusion Ireland and be available for viewing for people especially unable to attend today, or if there's content that you may like to review over time. We also would invite you throughout the session today to use the chat function, which can be found at the bottom of your screen under Q&A, question and answer. And feel welcome, please, to enter in your questions at the end of our session. Des, our co-host here, will be answering those questions, and he will use his team and the knowledge of his team at the Inclusive National Higher Education Forum to answer those questions. This event is funded by the Laois and Offaly CIPSE program, the Children and Young People Services Committee. And it was this committee who identified over 3 years ago that there was a lack of information, that more support was needed to identify the options, post-school options for individuals with intellectual disability. A steering committee has met over that time, and I'd like to thank that particular committee made up of many people in the community from Laois and Offaly who have identified the information that we share today, and also information that will sit on our new webpage around various options. Additionally, I'd like to thank our funder, Healthy Ireland, for recognition of the importance of this information sharing event, and to let you, the listener, the participant, know that this is a snapshot. It's an overview of possibilities. Thankfully, today we have 5 third level institutions who are going to share, reaching from Cork to Louth and many more throughout Ireland who are looking at ways to support third level options. So the hope is by the end of this hour that you, either a person who has decisions to make, a young person, or a family member or a professional, will have increased your understanding of how to plan for the future. Just a note before we begin on Inclusion Ireland, as is said here over my head, we're the National Association for People with an Intellectual Disability. We celebrate our 60th birthday this year. And our platform is United Nations Convention on the Rights of People with Disability. So if you would, a poll has just been posted there. We have 105 attendees today. And if you would answer the 3 questions we have listed here, that would be useful. And we'll give that a minute or two as you're looking at those questions. Just to know that at Inclusion Ireland, we're a membership-led organization, and we invite you as individuals with intellectual disability, family members, professionals to join us as we further advocate for the rights of people with intellectual disability in Ireland. We're populating the poll here. Give it another. We have 73 of 108 who have voted. Thank you very much. Give it another 10 seconds or so. Okay, as you can see here, our results The primary participants today are family members at 40%. And next to that, we have professionals in disability service at 36% and other professionals around 24%. We're coming from all over today. Ulster 3%, Connacht 10%, Munster 11%, and Leinster wins at 75% of our participants today. And interestingly, what's your biggest concern about post-school options? Number one is limited options at 45%, lack of guidance at 38%, and lack of support at 18%. So we have a good variety there for Des to lead us off today. So Des Aston is the National and Schools Coordinator with the Inclusive National Higher Education Forum, which is based in Trinity Centre for people with intellectual disabilities in the School of Education. This particular forum is a national interest group. It's comprised of representatives of higher education providers who offer education, inclusive education to learners with intellectual disabilities throughout Ireland. And its mission is to provide consultation, a forum for consultation between providers with a view to drive strategic developments, inform policy, and build capacity, most especially capacity in the higher education sector to deliver meaningful education programs and outcomes for people with intellectual disabilities today. So without further ado, I'm delighted to introduce Des, and I think you have a treat in store with many of our recorded sessions from our many institutions. So thank you, Des.
Thanks a million for that lovely introduction. We're absolutely delighted to take part in this webinar series with some great presentations throughout the month that Inclusion Ireland are putting on. We've told you a little bit about the INHEF forum there, so just to give you a bit of background to my role and how the forum was set up very briefly. Through a funding grant from what was Social Innovation Fund Ireland, that is now Rethink Ireland, to the Trinity Centre for People with Intellectual Disabilities, my role as National Schools Coordinator was identified to establish a national forum of inclusive higher education providers. There was a network there already of people doing different types of programs around the country, but there was no special group or area for these people to come together and to communicate and to collaborate and work together. So that's where the idea behind the Inclusive National Higher Education Forum came from. Over the last couple of years, we've kind of built on our limited resources, and we've built a website, which I will put in the chat box at some stage, which we're trying to build a platform on a resource that people can go to if young people with intellectual disabilities, when they're leaving school, or if you've been out of school for a number of years and you're thinking about education and what you might want to do, our website might be somewhere that you can go and find information on these types of courses. I noticed in the poll there, one of the biggest concerns and one of our kind of the most users that are on the webinar today is family members. So one of the biggest concerns for family members is the lack of programs. So hopefully INHEF will be able to shed some light on that today, to offer some a variety of different programs that are happening around the country. But as was mentioned already, these are only 5 of the programs. There are a number of other programs around the country that are in operation. So please do check out our website whenever you get a chance afterwards. So the problem we had today was that many of our students are in college at this time, and many of our graduates and people like that are out in work placements and internships and jobs, part-time jobs, things like that. So what we had done today was we have pre-recorded some of our sessions. So the first section will be on programs, the 5 different programs that are presenting today. And each program coordinator has described their program in roughly 3 minutes. And I've put them together in a video that I'm going to play shortly. I will open it up to questions and answers from anyone that you can ask about the programs at that stage. Once we finish those question and answers, then we'll move on to the second half of our webinar today, which will be what we're calling our personal narratives. And this will be testimonies from students, graduates, and some parents on how inclusive education has benefited them and different aspects of their course that stood out to them. So I'm just going to share my screen here now so I can play these videos for you.
The main aim of our project is to enable young people with disabilities to gain work-based skills and experience to move them closer to employment. And our whole ambition, or our overall aim, is to get people to gain employment. And since last June, we've been offering an online course to students with disabilities. Now, one of the big advantages of the online course is it has allowed us to move all around the country.
In response to COVID-19, we developed a remote learning course called Introduction to Work. We hope that during this course, learners would build on their understanding of what work is, think about their own skills and interests and how these relate to work, as well as why people work and what kind of workplaces they might like to try.
We also developed a Next Steps Toolkit to give to these learners on completion of the programme and to our other learners who had worked with us on campus. And this Next Steps Toolkit was geared towards progression in their job search, but also covered the world they would be moving into post-COVID.
And during the whole programme, we adopted, we hope, a very inclusive approach to including learners of all abilities. And in particular, we found we were working with a majority of learners with an intellectual disability throughout the course.
There we have Mark in front, proudly standing in front of, in the front square of Trinity College, and just outlining the vision of the Trinity Centre for people with intellectual disabilities to promote the inclusion of people with intellectual disabilities into mainstream society through education, research, and pathways.
The Arts, Science and Inclusive Applied Practice course is a 2-year Level 5 certificate course awarded by Trinity College Dublin. In year 1 of the course, students attend college 3 days per week in semester 1 and 4 days per week in semester 2. In the second year of the course then, students attend college 4 days per week in semester 1 and 5 days per week in semester 2. That 5 days a week in semester 2 includes a work placement module where students will be out in one of our business partners for up to 8 weeks. We have teaching staff. Some of our teaching staff consist of our core team within the Trinity Centre for people with intellectual disabilities. And we also have teaching staff from across the university in different subject areas. And from time to time, we get guest lecturers and guest speakers in to speak and engage with our students. Some of the aims of the course are to help students to develop a broad knowledge of a variety of different subject areas and to encourage our students to articulate and use arguments, concepts and theories both orally and in writing, and to provide students with the opportunity to learn independently and in groups in order to make the most of their current and their future studies. And lastly, to equip students with the interdisciplinary knowledge to navigate the community and the employment sector.
A little bit of information around the different modules that we do. This gives an idea about the different themes across the modules. So we have 5 themes that are connected up. They're interdisciplinary themes. The first theme is advanced learning theories and self-development. The second theme, applied science, technology and maths. Our third theme is business and marketing. The fourth theme, advocacy, rights and culture. And the final one, fine arts and languages. Because it's an accredited course at level 5 within Trinity College, it's a Trinity College accredited course, students are expected to undertake a variety of different assessments. What we try to do really is to make an assessment fair. And we do that through presentations. It could be a PowerPoint, it could be a poster presentation, it could be a mind map. There's a variety of different ways students can talk about what they've learned through presentations. Our group projects, individual projects is part of that as well. So it's very much geared around the students' strengths.
So for students themselves, there's the student union, which is where students represent students on campus, and there's a lot that goes on. There's also a huge amount of societies available to students, over 130, to cover any interest that a student may have, anything from music to social groups to languages to gaming to even Harry Potter. There's a society related to that.
Lastly, we would like to mention our graduate internship program. So all of our students who complete the certificate in arts, science and inclusive applied practice have the opportunity to go on for a third year of supported internships in one of our business partners. I just want to mention this briefly as my colleague Marie Devitt, who is our Pathways Coordinator, will speak about these opportunities in next week's webinar. So be sure to tune into that if that is something that interests you.
Hello, my name is Deirdre Donner. I'm one of the lecturers in TU Dublin on the Blanchardstown campus, and I'm delighted to have the opportunity to talk to you today about our Learning Together programme, which I coordinate. So our Learning Together programme has been running since 2009, and it's a partnership between ourselves in TU Dublin and the Daughters of Charity Disability Services. It accommodates 6 or 7 students for a period of 2 years. When students are with us over that 2 years, they're in college 4 days a week. They also do some work experience as part of their college programme. At the end of their 2 years, then they qualify with a QQI level 3 qualification in a range of different modules broadly relating to employability skills. While students are with us, then they do a module in personal development planning. It's a module that they do as a group on their own, where they're looking at questions like, where have I come from? Where do I want to get to in my life? And how do I get there? So students are setting goals and letting the people around them know what they want out of their lives. They also do work experience as part of that module. Some of that work experience is on campus within the college, and some of it is off campus. They do a range of other modules then while they're with us, where they're mixed in with other students on campus. So they do some creative studies modules with both our first year social care students and our community development and youth work students, where they're looking at a broad range of creative approaches, including drama, music, visual arts and poetry. They do a sports coaching and health and fitness module, and that's with our third year sports management students. So they're always outdoors and very active for that module. They do a horticulture module with our fourth year horticulture students, where they're busy planting and potting and creating all kinds of horticulture experiences. Over the years that we've been running the programme, students have got involved in a range of different activities or things that they were interested in and wanted to do. Some of our students have done driving lessons. All our students have been part of our peer mentoring programme, which is a peer support programme delivered by second, third, fourth year students to our first year students to help them to settle into college life. They've all had their portrait painted by an artist. They have all presented at an international conference in Dublin, and they've been part of our outdoor bonding days with our social care students, where we spend a full day in the Phoenix Park, again to help people get to know each other and settle into college life. And most importantly, at the end of our 2 years, the students take part in the graduation ceremony, a really proud day for the students themselves, for their families, from their friends from across the campus, and for the staff who've been working with these students. So it's been lovely to share some of our stories of what we're doing on the Blanchardstown campus of TU Dublin, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Hello, my name is Breach King. I'm course coordinator for the programme Skills for Independent Living that is delivered in Dundalk Institute of Technology. We've been delivering this programme since 2009. As a rule, we normally have about 16 students enrolled on the programme at any one time. It's a 2-year part-time programme. Students normally attend college on either a Monday and a Tuesday or a Monday and a Wednesday. They are in college from 10 o'clock in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. And during the time, they will study subjects such as communications, literacy, numeracy. We study music and drama, health and physical activity, and art, as well as personal development. We link up with our students and colleagues in the music department, in the drama department, and in the sports department, whereby students from each of those departments will work alongside our students on drama projects, music projects, and also some PE every week. And it has been very successful for the duration of the time that we've been delivering the programme. The important aspect of our course is not just the academic achievement, it is very much about independence, developing independence, learning to travel independently on public transport, money management in particular, and as well as that, building the confidence to function independently. Quite a lot of our students have gone on and got little part-time jobs out of the course because their confidence have been greatly enhanced, and they have wanted to get a job out of it, and they have successfully achieved or attained jobs in different places. An important aspect of it is the social aspect of meeting new people, coming to college, coming to a third level college, and also at the very end of it, a lovely graduation ceremony where they will graduate with the other students within our department, which is housed within the Department of Nursing, Midwifery and Early Years. The friendships that they form, they continue on afterwards. They also have the opportunity to join clubs and societies for the duration, and some of them will come in on the days that they're actually not attending college to participate in those clubs and societies. And overall, I have found the course to be really successful, successful for the student, successful for the staff and the department. It really is an asset to our department. And also feedback from parents have indicated that they have seen a real positive change in their child, whereby they become much more confident in themselves and are very motivated to do more things then whenever they finish. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Maura and I work at UCC, where I run a programme called the Certificate in Contemporary Living. And because that's a very long name, we usually call it the CCL. So what is the CCL? Well, it's a programme for students with intellectual disabilities. It's a part-time programme that runs over 2 years and students come on campus for 2 days per week. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what you might be doing if you were a student on the CCL and what you might be learning. So the first thing that students do when they come on campus is they learn to find their way around and they begin to make friends. And making friends is a really important part of the programme. So because of that, we make sure that in the first few weeks, people visit the Student Centre, they visit the Sports Centre, and they spend a lot of time getting to know the other people in their class. And when people are in their class, they're usually working together in very small groups of 2 or 3 people working with other classmates. And they will also get to work with people who are doing other courses, who sometimes join the CCL course. And for example, they work with students who are doing sports studies and PE, and they work with students who are doing social work courses. And some of the things that you learn through all of these activities, the first thing I would say that people usually learn is to be a lot more confident. And that's because when you realize how much you can achieve, you feel better about yourself. People also become much better at developing their own opinions, and they become better about communicating them and learning how to communicate them very clearly. Other things that people learn are skills like doing work on the computer, managing email, learning to do a lot of work around managing their money, learning how to travel, learning how to manage their health and well-being. They also learn about dance and art and music. They learn about their rights and they learn about their responsibilities. So there would be responsibilities like turning up to class on time, responsibilities around doing your assignments, responsibilities around turning up for your work placement and doing the job that you're given. And CCL students also contribute to the wider community. And one of the ways they do this is by running a coffee morning. They do this when they're in second year. And for example, last year, the students raised money for the Irish Guide Dogs for the Blind. So that's a really important piece of the work, giving back to the wider community and playing a part in the wider community. And then when people finish the programme, they do a number of things. So some people move on to do another course in a different college, or they might move on to do work. It might be part-time work, it might be full-time work, or sometimes people move on and do other types of training programs. So I hope this video has given you some ideas about what it might be like to be a student on the CCL, and I hope it's given you an idea around some of the things that you might learn on the programme. You can find out more about the topics that we study and look at some videos about our past students if you look at our website. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
So I might invite some of our program coordinators to turn on their camera and their microphone now. I'm not sure, I couldn't see because I was sharing my screen, but if there's any questions that have come into the chat box, or if anyone can think of any questions now, we'd be happy to answer them on the different programs. It's interesting watching the full video back there in one piece. One of the things that really stood out to me is the similarity. Although these programs are very different and they're run independently by different colleges and universities, confidence and building students' confidence was one of the main things that I picked up from those videos, watching those videos, the outcomes for students. Just got my questions I can't click into for some reason. Oh, here.
Can I just jump in there, Des, a second?
Of course, Deirdre, yeah, please.
Yeah, can you hear me okay? I think one of the things that's interesting is that of the different groups that presented there was, one of the positive things was, people were making a strong link between the courses that they were offering and progression, particularly around employability. And I think that one of the things that we all need is that things don't remain static and that there is progression. So I think that was one of the heartening things to see, that every single one of the courses that were being offered had this progressive element to it. And that I think is really important. And the other thing I was going to just comment on just generally is, and I see some queries coming in, so I don't want to take up the time, is just the fact that not everywhere is offering options. So the options for people, depending on where they live geographically, can be quite limited. And I think that's another, perhaps a concern for people.
Absolutely, yeah. So I see a question for, do we have Maura or Nicola there? I think Maura's there.
Yeah.
So a question from Mary asking, hi, is there assistance available for students attending UCC course? I presume that's some sort of classroom assistant they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to the issue around classroom assistance. So in the class, at any given time, along with the lecturer, there would be 3 other education support workers. So there's always a lot of help in doing the activities in class. And I suppose there's also help in relation to doing a learning needs assessment at the start. So we always look at what would be the best supports for each individual student in terms of software, in terms of ways of communicating, ways of adapting their laptop or iPad or whatever. If maybe the person is speaking about financial assistance, just in case that's what they were asking, we have a bursary scheme, which is provided by a philanthropic donor, so that every year we have a number of bursaries to help cover with fees for some students.
Thanks, Maura. So Paula is asking, do you take pupils with dual diagnosis, a learning intellectual disability and other disabilities such as ASD? So I know the courses presented today, they will all have different admission procedures. I know for ourselves in Trinity College, we do take students who would have a dual diagnosis. And one of the requirements for our course would be that there would be documentation to proof of the diagnosis. So if intellectual disability is one of those diagnoses, yes, they would qualify for our course. Do any of the other coordinators want to comment on that for your course?
Yeah, we would definitely accept students with dual diagnosis, yeah.
We would be the same in Dundalk. Sorry, my video is blocked. I can't turn it on. No, but we would have the same.
And similarly, in the disability project, we would have people with a variety of support requirements as well.
Okay, so Bob is asking, what types of jobs do your graduates normally take? Deirdre, do you like to speak to that one? Because I know you're very employment focused.
Well, we are very employment focused, and I think obviously the whole COVID situation has created a couple of problems for us. Now, what we were trying to do with the disability project, and I see Mary from our project is here as well, and Ailish, they might jump in if they want to add to this. What we were trying to do was we were trying to create a situation where people who were perhaps most distant from the workplace could have an opportunity to consider work. And while, yes, employment and actual jobs absolutely is the end goal, we felt that every stage along the process was a goal. So for example, we would have had some students who've been on the program and where work was never considered an option. And I think that that's an important point, that each stage of movement towards work is as important as the final thing itself, which is getting a job. So most of the students who've done our program have progressed along that in some way. And we have had some students who are now in work, and obviously COVID has affected some of that. But one of the things that we found challenging was in relation to appropriate work experience placements as well. So we were trying to create a situation where the students chose the type of work they would want to have available to them, rather than, for example, these are the placements we have available. And I don't know if that's kind of a long-winded way of trying to answer the question. I don't know if either Mary or Ailish wants to jump in there as well.
No, thanks, Deirdre. That was well described. Just to mention as well that we do have a sort of phase following from the course, a kind of next steps program that we use to work with our participants after they've left the course, and particularly with their families and service staff as well. And that's been kind of a big factor of our offering at the moment, especially since moving off online and away from campus during the COVID period.
Anyone else like to come in on the employment question? Okay, so we might have a look at some of the other questions, because I'm just conscious of time, that we do have the other video to show as well with our participants, our students and our graduates, which is always one of the most important voices to hear. Just one more question there asks about, are there similar programs in Galway? Not currently at the moment, as far as I'm aware. There was a pilot project run in NUI Galway at one stage, but I don't think that program is running anymore. We do have members from NUI Galway on our forum, so we would hope that in the future, all going well, there would be some sort of program there, but there's no program at the moment. Just scanning through the questions to see if there's anything else that we could answer now. We won't get to all of these questions right now, but we might be able to answer them by email afterwards to people. So one person asked as well, how much integration occurs? Do people make friendships with non-disabled peers? Would anyone, Deirdre Bonner, would you like to speak about that one?
Yeah, I guess I think that's a really important question to ask, because for us, so much of the learning that happens for these students happens outside of the classroom. just as much as inside the classroom. And so we would, I suppose, because our classes happen with our level 7s and level 8 students, and they're all taking the same module, just working to different learning outcomes, we would see real friendships developing, and friendships that continue after people have moved on from the program. Sometimes we need to be a bit strategic about that. So maybe we'll kind of pull back our supports at lunchtime and kind of watch from a distance and see how are people managing and what kind of integration is happening. One year we ran an art group for anyone across the campus who was interested in art to come along on a Monday lunchtime, and a lot of our students joined in that with loads of other students. So we kind of strategically and carefully manage opportunities and provide opportunities for people to make those friendships, and they do happen. They really do happen.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant.
I think, sorry, Des, within Dundalk, I think because the students are very much integrated with the level 7, level 8 students in music, drama and sport, you would find that the students then, they're kind of being mentored by the students in the level 7 and level 8 programs. So they, once the friendship is formed from a class point of view, then you can see it developing outside where they're meeting at lunchtime. And we also have a peer mentorship, especially for traveling on public transport, where a student that might be traveling on the same bus would mentor the student on our program until they are confident with traveling on the bus as well.
Brilliant, thank you. So I see just one other question here that I might be able to answer quickly before we move on. There is a lot of questions there. I hope that we can save these questions, and we might put together a question and answer sheet that could be shared with participants afterwards, because I would like to answer a lot of these questions, but we just won't have time to answer them live today. But it's definitely something, there's some really good ideas coming in from people there as well, which we appreciate. One question there from Ursula is, what level of intellectual disability are the programs at? So I think that varies around the country. So if you're talking about level of intellectual disability, I think it tends to be mild to moderate, but in some colleges that are offering lower courses, I know down in Tralee, some of our colleagues there are doing level 1, 2 and 3, whereas in ourselves in Trinity, our students are working towards a level 5. So there is quite a difference in the kind of spectrum and the level on the national framework of qualifications. So I hope that kind of answers that question. Okay, would any of the coordinators like to say anything before we move on to the personal narratives videos? Thanks very much for your answers. I'm delighted to see so many questions coming in, and we will get back to them at some stage. Thank you so much for all your questions. So I'm going to share my screen again and play our second video.
That's it. Yeah. Well done.
It really suits you, Adam. It looks.
I know. Yeah.
Adam.
Yeah, Mary.
What are you doing in this photo?
Okay. Yes, okay.
Yeah. So things that are okay and things that aren't okay at.
Yeah. It will.
In work. It was called Safe and Social.
Yes, yeah. So.
What was it like doing Safe and Social with Christine?
It was lovely.
Yeah?
Yes.
Why was it good, Adam? What was good about it?
Everything.
Everything?
Yes.
And did you have to do some acting?
Yeah.
What did you have to act, Adam?
Routine.
Different thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you have to pretend you were at work?
Yes.
And then things that are
okay. Not okay.
And not okay. What was it like working in the Interfaith?
I did do computer, my tea coffee, the room, back also.
Did you enjoy working there?
Yes.
Yeah. What did you like? What did you like about it?
I like meet new people. Yeah, I like more.
Helping people there.
A decision about me, and my birthday, about me, my hobby.
Adam, what was it like talking about yourself in the All About Me presentation?
Lovely, happy. Thank you.
What was the best thing about coming to DCU to do the course?
And I like to computer course, and working education. What the same is, it was
Ability.
to see those, to love it, everything. Thank you.
What did you enjoy most about your course?
I enjoyed being in Trinity. I enjoyed the course completely, and I enjoyed getting to meet new friends and being a mentor for a short time.
What supports did you have to get through your course?
I had the support from my parents. I had the support from the OT in Trinity and all the staff. And I had support from my friends and the rest of my family.
What does occupational therapy mean to you?
It means to me to get support that I need for if I am struggling with anything. And I think it's really handy to have for people if they can't go and talk to a family member.
Okay.
And maybe help you with class if you really need the extra support.
In what way did the OT or occupational therapy support you?
They helped me with all the work I was stuck on, and they just made having a one-to-one conversation really helped me.
I suppose the occupational therapy, there's the group work and the individual. Do you think that was needed?
I think having the group work gave us an idea of like what we will be expected to do in the real world, you know, when we start a job, but also doing it on your own is a bit more practice and better for you. So, you know, you don't need to have people helping you all the time.
After you finish your course, Heather, so how much is that helping to prepare to getting ready to the internships?
It's helped me a lot since I know what I'm going to be going into and having to do.
How much has changed since you finished your course?
I think it has helped with my confidence, and I've managed to do like talks with the college that I never thought I would do.
I really like the occupational therapy and the personal development class.
Can you remember why?
Because it's great fun.
Okay, it was fun. Okay. Do you think it was helpful for you to get through the course? I mean,
yeah.
And you're waiting to go in and do an internship now, are you?
Yeah.
What work have you been doing with Yara in preparation for your workplace?
Well,
your internship?
We did some Zoom calls at 10 o'clock in the morning, and just to meet up with others and see they talking about our internships and our contract as well. We were doing the marching rules like be on time and all that, and professional skills, Okay,
very good.
And it's time management as well.
How much has the course helped you
Well, my course helped me because of John's class when I was in first year. It's about how the brain works. So my brain is I actually have a one chromosome in my head, so that makes me a lot of thinking. So if I get buzz sometimes, then it goes to my brain. So I think John's class with that is would be good because that helps me a lot and do my work and all that. So yeah.
Would you recommend this course to other people?
Yeah, it'd be very good with the Down syndrome students in as well.
My name is Amy Foster and I go to TU Dublin Blarneystown campus.
Brilliant. And Amy, while you've been in college, have you joined any societies?
Yeah, I've been in music societies in college.
The Music Society. Brilliant. And Amy, why did you want to join the Music Society?
Because I auditioned to go to Music Society.
You auditioned, yeah.
I paid a $5 to stay.
You paid your $5. Brilliant. And that was how you joined up, wasn't it?
Yes.
Fantastic. And what kind of things, Amy, did you do in the Music Society?
The person who gave us what to do to like sing. So we went to Houston Station.
You went to Houston Station. You raised money for charity in Houston Station, and you were doing lots of singing, weren't you?
Yes.
What kind of songs were you singing?
I auditioned. I sang "Don't Stop Believing" by Believe Virgin.
Brilliant. And when you were in Houston Station, you were doing all Christmas songs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic. And Amy, for anyone thinking of going to college, do you think it's a good idea to join a society?
Yeah. If they go to the hall and enter to join the clubs and societies, it's a good idea to join to make new friends.
Make lots of friends.
Hi, my name is Lee Root. I'm 23 years old. I used to go to college in TUD for 2 years.
Brilliant. And Lee, when you were in college, did you join any societies?
Yes, I did. I went to the dance society and singing society.
Brilliant. And why did you want to join the dance society?
I joined the dance society as it is a lot of fun and I love to dance. I also love to sing.
Brilliant. And can you tell us, Lee, what are some of the things that you did when you were in the dance society?
Well, I learned the hip hop and Michael Jackson and my robotic dancing. We practiced in college 1 day a week. Every Wednesday, we practice in the C block.
Every Wednesday. Brilliant. Fantastically. And if you were given advice to other college students, would you tell them it's a good idea to join the society?
Yes, I would. If you like dancing or singing, it is a great group and a fun experience. You will meet lots of new people and make friends.
Hello, Emily. Emily, can you tell me what your experience was of coming to college to do the course in Dundalk?
Yes, I enjoyed going on the bus to Dundalk and meet new friends. Number 2, I really enjoyed the course. It was fantastic. Number 3, I really enjoyed all the subjects. Number 4, I really enjoyed the computer class. Number 5, I really enjoyed taking part in PE. It was so cute. Number 6, I really enjoyed taking part in drama and music. Number 7, we put on a production show and we take part in it. Number 8, all of the teachers and tutors were so kind to us all.
Very good, Emily. And what about coming on the bus? Did you enjoy learning?
I did, yeah. I loved that, yeah.
And
I loved it. Speed, yeah.
And you enjoy becoming independent, because at the start you hadn't really travelled on the bus much before.
No.
And are you comfortable now? Well, before lockdown, you're comfortable going on buses and travelling?
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
And what would you hope to do now after doing the course? Would you be thinking about looking to get like a wee part-time job?
Yeah, that's what I love. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Now, Emily, I'm going to ask your mommy then, just what from a parent's point of view. Marie, from a parent's point of view, you know, when you decided that Emily decided that she was coming to Dundalk, what was your experience of the whole process, and also the experience that you saw Emily having then from a parent's perspective?
It was a great experience for Emily. We were delighted that Emily was going to Dundalk, because she would never have been actually at third level education. But we were concerned about Emily going on the bus. She had never travelled alone before without a family friend. But on saying that, everybody on the bus was very helpful, and she made friends on the bus and got to know the surrounding countryside. And she could tell us if we went for a drive over that way, that's the way the bus came. So it was a great experience. And we learned from that Emily was more capable travelling on her own than we would have envisaged.
Yeah.
And it also gave Emily great confidence that she could do that on her own. The mentors were so helpful for Emily. When you went to college, it meant that she knew there was somebody there to meet her at the bus and take her in, and the same in the evening. Now that was for the first few weeks until Emily settled in, and then she was quite capable of going in the morning and coming out in the evening to the bus. Teachers and staff were very helpful, and Emily got on very well with them. The subjects that helped Emily to express herself, particularly music and drama. All subjects helped in different ways, but I suppose music and drama, you can express yourself more. Now, as a parent, I would have no hesitation whatever recommending this course to any student. It was a great course.
Lovely, thank you very much. And overall, have you found that Emily is much more independent now and has the confidence to do things that she, may have been a wee bit more shy about beforehand?
She would, and money matters comes to my mind as well on that. That was great, doing somebody out from home, going through all money matters, dealing with money, going into the shop. She would be more confident on that. That's just one example. It has really helped her, yes. And making new friends, and that has all helped as well.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you.
My name is Brian. In 2016 to 2018, I did the certificate in contemporary living in UCC for 2 years. My classes were 2 days every week. I learned about health and well-being. Now I know how to eat healthy food, and is healthy by choosing healthy options. I learned numeracy. When I'm out for lunch, I know how to get the right change manage my money. I learned about it when we did numeracy in UCC. I studied ICT. This helped me to type on the computer and to use PowerPoint. This is a great help to me. I did a work placement in the post room at UCC. I sorted letters. I put the paces into their departments. I put on different labels and wrote in the order book. I learned about communicating with people and working with people. The CCL made me more confident. I made a lot of friends, and before COVID-19 we met each other once a month for lunch. Now we use Zoom to talk to each other. The CCL helped me to get the confidence to speak in public. I was asked to make 2 speeches on behalf of the class. My UCC certificate is hanging on my bedroom wall. After UCC, I went to St. John's College. I did a level 4 course called New Directions. Then the next year I did level 5 Applied Computer Training. I passed 5 of the 10 subjects. This year I went back to study the other 5 subjects. Because of COVID-19, I'm studying and going to classes online. The ICT that I learned in UCC was a great help to me for working online. Everyone in UCC was very friendly. Thanks to their help, kindness and support, I had the confidence to go to St. John's College. I have the confidence now to talk to people in St. John's College, especially my teachers. I recommend the certificate in contemporary living in UCC because I learned lots of skills there that have helped me in my life and in St. John's College.
So thank you to everyone that contributed in those videos. I think that really gives a good snapshot of the different things that are happening around the country. I knew it was going to be tight on time, and I apologize for rushing through the questions and things like that. If there are any short questions, we might have time to take a couple, but as I said, we will try and get a fact sheet maybe with some of the answers to these questions. There's loads of questions coming in there to people afterwards. I know we have Marie and Emily here, so I invite you to ask questions, and we have Judy as well from Trinity, and Marie and Emily went to college in Dundalk. So if there's any specific questions for our students, graduates, or parents, I invite them. And the course coordinators can invite you to turn on your camera and mic as well if you have any comments before we finish up. Just have a quick read of the questions that people are asking. Hi, Emily. You're very welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Your video was brilliant.
Thanks so much.
Would you like to tell us anything about your experience of college? How did you find it?
It's very interested, and I love the course, and now I am more independently do the course.
Very good. Thank you so much. There's one question here. How are young people and their families supported through the transition to this level of education? My colleague Barbara might be able to come in on that one with Julie, Julie's one of our graduates, recent graduates.
Hi, everyone. I'm an occupational therapist working in the Trinity program. And so I work, there is a module built into the actual program that supports the transition. So I think one of you guys mentioned earlier, there's a learning and education needs assessment that's completed early on. And we identified any kind of accommodations that's required for the students. But also a good part of what I do is working with the students to integrate and to find their way around the campus. I don't want to say take too much time. So yeah, like someone had, I think it was Mary had mentioned earlier, you know, the mentor meeting. So finding students coming into university, finding their way around, finding the classes. That's all part of what we do as well. And making sure people know, where to go at their lunch breaks and how to manage the free time that sometimes the timetable gives them. Yeah.
And thanks, Barbara. I might ask Julie then. Julie, would you tell us what your experience of coming to college was like? Do you remember your first day?
Yeah.
Was it difficult?
No.
No. So what made it easier?
So the reason it makes it easier because I get the bus from O'Connell Street, and college is now long for walking. So others being independent. So I go to college for myself, and I know where I'm going, and it's great because I get lots of independence, and it's my mom would drive me to the bus, and I go walking down, so it's great.
Very good, Julie. Thank you so much for that. I'm conscious of time there. We're gone over the time limit. Patria, you can come in and stop me if you want.
I think there's time, Des, if you'd like to take another question or two. And I just want to alert people before people start signing off that there is a feedback evaluation. If you take a few moments, it's very helpful. And like Des has said, we will summarize this material. There are 10 to 15 people who've been on this call who have graciously given of their time and their expertise. And we would very much like to continue that dialogue and to share that with you. So there will be follow-up in that regard. So if you want to take another question or two, it's very important information, I think. Thank you.
Yeah. So I might just take one or two of the shorter ones that I can scan through here quickly. I see one person here has asked, can people access HSE funding services after completion if required? Technically, yes. So any policy out there or any government directive from HSE funded services, they should be able to access a HSE service after they complete a course, as far as I'm aware. I know there has been issues with this in the past, but we have got confirmation that this shouldn't be an issue. If this is something that you have heard or that you've experienced in your local area, I would encourage you to reach out to us in INHEF, and we could follow up with it and maybe get it sorted for you. There's another one there. So someone else asked, so these courses sound like RT programs, so that's the rehabilitative training programs, but in a mainstream setting. There are similarities between some of the rehabilitative training programs around the country. There's some really good courses around the country. There is some of the similarities around building up students' skills, confidence. I suppose the difference here is, as you mentioned, the mainstream environment. So I suppose it's everything that a college experience is worth. It's the incidental learning, it's the social equity that comes with a college course. And I suppose colleges and universities are big campuses with a lot of resources. So students get access to the likes of the college counselling, the student support centres, the sports centres that maybe you wouldn't have in a local RT programme or training centre. And that's some of the differences, to name a few. Is there anything else we could answer very quickly? So, Patria, there's one there just for Inclusion in Ireland. Where will the link be to rewatch the videos?
The link will be found once we have the recording ready. It will be found on our website. We will be launching a page next week called Post-School Options. It will be located there on that website. Equally, if I get it before then, I will post it on our social media.
And then just lastly, someone is asking for specific information on the course in Cork. So what I would say to that one, if anyone has any specific questions for courses, you can contact INHEF, but you're probably better off contacting the course representative directly themselves. So on the INHEF website, which I'll put into the chat box now in a second. Oh, you have contact details there for me. On the INHEF website as well, you can find a small section called courses, and it shows you some of the available courses around the country. and there should be contact details for each program coordinator there as well. So I'll just put that in the chat box now in a second. I think that's it from me today. Patria, would you like to say anything?
Great, thank you very much. And thank you to our over 100 participants today. This obviously is a topic for further exploration. So keep in dialogue with us at Inclusion Ireland, with Des and his fantastic team at the Trinity Centre for People with Intellectual Disabilities in HEF. There are a lot of resources out there, and we know this is a whistle-stop tour, very much a snapshot, and that your many questions, we will put them into a document and put that onto Inclusion Ireland media as well. So keep an eye out for that. Also to note that our next session, next Tuesday morning, as Des mentioned, will feature employment. We will have Marie Devitt and a personal narrative from Mark Hogan, a student, former student at Trinity, who will speak, and then also the walk program with Des Henry. So we'll have, again, a whistle-stop tour of employment options. And the final Tuesday of April, we'll be looking at a variety of community supports. So we hope that all of you may attend and encourage others to attend as well. So if you have a few moments, please, if you take the time once this meeting has closed and fill out the survey, it's much appreciated. It informs us going forward of what further information you may need. So thank you. Thanks for participating. Thanks to all our presenters.
Thanks everyone. Just to say, I'm not able to write into the chat box, but the Inclusive National Higher Education Forum is www.inhef.ie. Okay, thanks.
Bye, thank you.